What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So today I just wanted to put together personally, or actually see if I was able to put together a list of 10 things I hate and 10 things I love about my GT500. And I know there's not even close to 10 things I hate about the car, or even 5. So what made me decide to bring the car out and see if I could actually come up with a list is because all these people a while back were putting together a list of 10 things I love about my GT500 and then 10 things I hate about it. And I was thinking, well, if you put together a list of 10 things you hate about your GT500 that you probably invested a lot into, why do you have one? So I just wanted to, I guess, challenge myself or just put together a list, because I know I could have come up with 10. So I came up with 5, and it's not in any particular order, of things I won't even call it hate, that are more of annoyances, I guess you could say, with my GT500. So, and that was even a struggle. So the number one thing that I didn't like about the 1112's GT500s are the factory taillights. Now, clearly these aren't the factories. My first Mustang I bought was a 2014 V6, and then clearly I upgraded. But I took the taillights off of that car, and then I put them onto this car. Clearly the taillights make a huge difference on the rear end. Just by switching out the taillights, it completely changes the ass end look of the car. The second thing, and actually this is probably the only thing I would probably say that I actually truly hate about the car, is the second gear lockouts on these cars. Going from first to second gear, when you try and shift quickly from first to second, and even periodically but not quite as often going from second into third, but clearly I think it's a wide range issue going from first to second in the 11 and 12 GT500s. So, and that's an easy fix. All you got to do is you just get a short throw and a clutch, and that issue is completely taken care of and it's gone. So both of those things so far in the car are still factory. The short throw and the clutch is still the factories in those, but that's going to be taken care of here shortly. So that, I guess you could say that's actually the one true thing I actually hate about the car, is the first to second gear lockouts. I guess in no particular order, the factory tires. Clearly these aren't the factory tires. I got the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and they come with the Eagle F1s, I believe. I swapped these out, I want to say about a little under a year ago, maybe 8 months ago or so. Then those were still the original tires that came on the car when they were brand new, because the car now only has just cracked 20,000 miles on it. So for warm weather, the Eagle F1s actually really aren't that bad of a tire. But for people that daily drive the car, and you drive it to basically anything below 50 or 55 degrees outside, there's no traction in those whatsoever. And the Pilot Sport 4S's, I mean, I don't drive this car in the rain unless I get caught in like a rainstorm. But I have, and they handle just fine. And anybody that does decide to daily drive their GT500, if you get stuck in a rainstorm, the Pilot Sport 4S's here, they handle just fine. And they're actually still a fairly sticky tire. They're a good performance tire. So I guess you could say I don't really would say hate, because factory tires for someone that doesn't daily drive the car aren't even that bad. They're just not the greatest for all around conditions, which is why I switched over from that to the Pilot Sport 4S. Alright, so another thing with these cars, and this isn't specific to just a GT500, no backup cameras. These cars, this is a 2012, and even the 2014s don't come with a backup camera, which is something to this day. I wonder why they didn't just install a backup camera. Now, you can get them installed. You can go to like any place that can do those things and they can install them, but for some reason from, I guess, the entire S197 platform 05 to 14 don't have a backup camera. Again, it's not specific to a GT500, so I can't really say that's something I hate. But why they don't do that, I don't know. I wish they did. Alright, so on the topic of talking about things that I actually truly like about the car, there's far more than 5, but I'll keep it short. The number one thing, in my honest opinion, unbiased, I think the 2011 to 14 is the best body style, hands down. The body lines, the hood, the headlights, the front grille, especially on the GT500s, the front grille opening, the headlights. Now keep in mind this is a 2012. I did swap out the headlights for 1314 headlights. I swapped out the grille for 1314 GT500 upper and lower grills, and as you saw earlier, I swapped out the taillights. So if you have me on Instagram at Trigger Society, I do have other pictures of the car back when I first bought the car, and it's completely stock form, stock height. I got the iBox Sport lines on here, but yeah, just the entire body lines, I just think hands down this is the best body style that they ever came out with. Another thing, and probably one of my favorites, the seats. The fact that these seats come factory as an option. Now, they actually debuted the Recaro seats here in 2012. You cannot get the Recaro's factory in a 2011 GT500. That's not an option in any of them. If they are in a 2011, someone swapped them out. So the Recaro is the 2012 was actually the first year. The only difference between the 2012 Recaros and 13s is here. This is all like suede or the Alcantara stuff. So, but how these hug you, I mean, unless you're oversized, they hug me perfectly, and they just, I don't know, to me, it's not just how they feel when you're sitting in them, it's the look. So, another thing that I love about it too is the fact that you cannot buy a GT500 in an automatic. You don't have an auto option, or like the current GT500, all you have is the, I guess they call it an automatic. Now I understand why they have it as an auto for track purposes and drag racing. Clearly it's faster and it's going to be a better performing car, but you're not as connected to the car when you have a manual. So you can't get an S197 GT500 in an auto unless it was swapped over. It's just not an option. So that's another thing that I'm glad this is only a 6-speed option. Alright, so another thing that I absolutely love about this car is the 1314 full front swap. 1314 headlights, GT500 full front, upper, and lower grills. I didn't do the lower lip, is because with the iBox springs, I mean, it sits pretty low. So if I were to do the extension on the bottom of the lip, I didn't add that, because I mean, it's already low as it is. That adds another 1.5 to 2 inches, I believe, on top of that. And with stock height, I would have issues scraping. So I didn't add that specifically because of that. But the 1314 headlights, upper and lower grille, or I guess people call the grille deletes, I guess, I don't know, but just, it's more of an aggressive look. And the 1314 taillights, as you've seen, swapping out for the 13 and 14 taillights. You know, and people have asked me too, like, okay, well, why didn't you just get a 1314 GT500? I mean, you're making it look like a 13 and 14 anyway. Well, at the time that I bought the car, I bought this with only 6,000 miles on it. 5,983, exactly. So I wanted a low mileage car that was completely stock, it wasn't beat up, it wasn't abused, and every GT500 that I could find with under 10,000 miles on it was been through like over 3 years ago ish. Yeah, I bought it July of 2017. So yeah, about a little over 3 years ago. With those kind of miles, you're looking at 55, 60,000 still, and I wasn't wanting to spend that much on a car. So at the time. So now, if I found a car now, I mean, you can buy a 13, 14 GT500 still, I mean, with 10, 15, even 20,000 miles on them are still, they're starting to hold their value now a lot more. You can still probably upper 40s on those, depending on how you find them. But since I got this for such low miles, I mean, I couldn't pass it up. I mean, it was only, like I said, 6,000 miles on it, completely unabused, completely stock, still had a new car smell, and just everything about the car. The black with the silver stripes. And keep in mind too, it is an SVT package car. Now, at 11 and 12 SVT package, you only had two options for factory stripes that came directly from the Ford plant, and that was the skinny white or the skinny red. This one was a stripe delete car. Now, when the Ford dealer purchased the car and they brought it to the dealership, they had them throw stripes on it. Now, from the factory, from Ford, when it was built in the plant, it was a stripe delete car. Another way that you can tell is on the seats. Now, these stripes here, if they're black, the car came with a stripe delete. It would actually match the outside of the car. If it had a white stripe, that would be white. Red, obviously, you know, it would be a red stripe as well. So I actually did not know that till after I got the car. I found out about it, that it came with a stripe delete. And how they did these stripes, they tucked everything in. It goes all the way underneath every seam. It doesn't cut off on the edges like it does on the new GT500s. I mean, it's professionally done from the factory. So you can tell it just goes over every seam. So another thing that is great about the S197 GT500s is the sound. Now, there is a slight sound difference between the 11 and 12 GT500s compared to the 13 and 14. That's just because it's a 5.4 versus a 5.8. But the overall sound, hands down, nothing beats it. Side note, I couldn't come up with 5 things I hate about my GT500. It's more like 4, and there wasn't any things that I hate about it. More annoyances for the topic of discussion. I absolutely love this car, and I wouldn't even trade it, in my opinion, for the 2020 GT500. A lot of people may disagree with that, and that's okay. That's my opinion. Fight me.